What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Legitical Response. We cover political news. We keep you up to date and keep you informed with everything that the government does. Now, I make the claim constantly, as a matter of fact. Every time I talk about the border, I say, those cartels operate with impunity across that southern border, and he make me sound like a freaking broken record sometimes. But they are operating with impunity across our southern border, and we now have a story about that. Check this out, y'all. Mexican cartels wiped out competition in U.S. fentanyl market, DEA says. That is right. Alright, buckle up, y'all, because this is a long one, you guys. Two powerful Mexican drug cartels are not only operating fentanyl and other illicit drug markets in all 50 U.S. states, but have also successfully eliminated their drug dealing competition using violence and other means, according to a report issued by the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, or DEA. Once again, the Biden administration, I do blame this partly on the Biden administration, because their open border policy, they have just allowed millions of these people to come across our southern border, and a bunch of them have been bringing drugs with them because they don't search these people. They don't vet these people. They just come up to the border and say, I'm a political asylee. And they take their name and then they just let them go. That's what's happening. That is facts, as a matter of fact. So the cartels have taken an opportunity when they've seen it and have decided to use some of these people. As a matter of fact, they force some of these people that come through cartel territory, they are forced to pay the cartels money, right? Like, if they really wanted to hurt the cartels, they would shut that border down. These people would stop coming, and because they're not going to be allowed in. So why come in the first place? That means that each one of those 15 million criminal aliens that are in the country right now had to pay money to the cartel to get across cartel territory. Now, I'm sure that some people got away scot-free. Here and there, some people might not have had to pay. But I bet you the vast majority of these people had to pay. I don't know the numbers. I couldn't seem to find the statistics on this, so I can't give you that. They don't track that, because how are you going to track that? But it is factually known that the majority of these people have to pay the cartels $5,000 to $8,000 to get across the border. And you got to think, like, that kind of doesn't make any sense. Why are they paying the cartels to get into the United States? That's because the cartels, like I said, those cartels operate with impunity across that southern border, and now, according to the DEA, in all 50 states. There you go. The Sinaloa and Jalisco cartels are the heart of the deadliest drug threat that the U.S. has ever faced, the federal report said. Federal officials have reported that 200 U.S. deaths are linked to fentanyl each day. Damn! And that 38,000 deaths tied to the drug were reported in the first 6 months of 2023 alone. But the two transnational criminal organizations have not infiltrated states along the U.S. southern border with drugs like fentanyl and methamphetamine, but have also taken the major distribution of the dangerous substances from local drug dealers and gangs in states like Florida, Illinois, and New York by manufacturing their product by the ton. So, yeah, they don't just operate with impunity across that southern border. They're now operating with impunity all inside the United States. They have taken their factories where they manufacture these drugs, and now they're manufacturing these drugs inside the United States. That is messed up really bad, and I do think that, if you want to defund the police, hey, let's send that funding to the DEA and the FBI, maybe, so we can get some of these cartels booted out. However, that's going to be a very tall task, if you will. Yeah, that's not going to be an easy thing to do. More concerning, perhaps, is that the powerful cartels have taken a foothold in unexpected places like Mississippi, Montana, and Wyoming, expanding the footprint of the two criminal organizations while taking charge of how fentanyl and other drugs are distributed. More women and children joining the drug cartel, reports. Both organizations rely on major drug wholesalers and established trafficking routes to get into major U.S. cities. They also use smaller branches of the cartels to work with local drug trafficking groups and gangs, along with social media channels like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to get drugs into the hands of users on the streets and into schools, the DEA report says. The cartels are here in the United States, and not only are they here, but they're comfortable. Robert Almonte, a former U.S. Marshal and former El Paso Police Department narcotics detective, told News Nation, adding he believes dealing with the cartels will only get worse for U.S. officials. That is some bad news. Yeah, it's not going to get better, y'all. It's going to get worse. I think, in my honest opinion, I think we need to get the damn military after these suckers. They need to label these cartels a terrorist organization, because they are terrorist organizations. They're just terrorist organizations that also deal in drugs, right? Like Al-Qaeda doesn't really do much drug selling as far as I know. I've never really heard, or they're not known for their drug dealing in America at least. But these Mexican cartels are. They are terrorists in just the fact that they kill 100,000 people a year with fentanyl overdoses. That alone should label them a terrorist organization, but that's not the only way they kill people. Yeah, they bully people, and they kill people through just outright gang violence, through, their territories and all this other BS, the stuff that they like to pull. Now they're doing it in the United States, and I think we need to crack down on this really hard. That's all I'm going to say. The Sinaloa cartel is credited with pioneering the deadliest drug threat in U.S. history, reaping billions in profit from the fentanyl trade alone, the DEA report says. It dominates the fentanyl market by its manipulation of the global supply chain, which they get from China. China is happily sending the constituent parts to fentanyl to these cartels so they can make the drugs to kill Americans. That is outright messed up. The organization, one of the oldest of its kind, has been producing fentanyl in bulk since 2012 and capitalizes on the cheap production and maintenance costs linked to synthetic drug operations as compared to more expensive plant-based drugs like heroin and cocaine. The DEA report says the cartel has a long history of skirting, defying, and bribing its way around regulations on importing precursor chemicals needed to produce synthetic drugs. The cartel uses border tunnels in California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas to cross drugs into the U.S. undetected by taking advantage of pre-existing sewer and water systems built by the municipalities where the drugs are being sold. Yeah, and they have only in recent years resorted to actually having some of these criminal aliens bring the drugs into the country. There's been several reports on that. I covered it in one of my early videos I did a few months ago, so go check that out. Making matters worse, Almonte said, it's the open U.S. border that allows dangerous criminal drug traffickers and gang members to cross into the country and further enable cartel operations. How the Jalisco cartel operates. The Jalisco cartel relies on vast financial resources, along with violence, the bribery of corrupt public and port officials, and a franchise-based command structure to operate, the DEA said. The organization delivers fentanyl in pill and powder form, and although it cannot keep pace with the Sinaloa production rate, it has flooded the U.S. market by mixing its product with heroin, cocaine, xanilene, also known as Trank. The cartel is the main supplier of cocaine to the U.S., primarily on the East Coast, the DEA report indicates. But the organization also deals heavily in marijuana and heroin and uses some of its billions of dollars in profits to expand its global footprint. It operates distribution hubs in Los Angeles, Seattle, Chicago, Atlanta, and Charlotte, North Carolina. That's just crazy. I really wish somebody would be able to do a study to see the impacts, how much those cartels have grown from the Trump administration to the Biden administration, because I've heard some numbers thrown around, but I haven't seen any actual facts, like an actual study that's been done. It's been said, I'll call it rumors from conservatives that say that that, the cartels went from, just $1 million business, hundreds of millions of dollars a year business, to profiting upwards of $13 to $15 billion a year since Joe Biden took office, due to trafficking humans and the drug trade, because opening these borders up has just allowed so many people to come in. There's no way we can keep up with it. They're getting paid from that. They're trafficking humans. They're putting all these people that are coming. Some of them, they have to go and do sex trafficking work just to get into the country. They have to work with these cartels for a while in Mexico or wherever. And then if they make it to America, sometimes they force them into sex trafficking rings inside America. Like, how come we're not doing more to try to stop this? It's hard for me to believe that the Biden administration, in its infinite wisdom, would allow this to continue by keeping that border open. It makes no sense to me, right? Like, if this guy really wants to win some praise and actually get back into office, have another 4 freaking years of the last 4 freaking years, that he would do something to stop that border. And he said, oh, Republicans, they shut down the border bill. Yeah, that was outright amnesty, right? That allowed 5,000 criminal aliens to come in a day. That's not to speak of the people that are coming in the legal way, coming in the right way, if you will. That's 5,000 quote unquote political asylees, right? Like I said before, all these people can't be asylees. I'm sorry. Statistically, it's impossible, especially coming from all over the freaking world. Yeah, freaking right. But, I really hope that's something that Trump recognizes is an issue, shuts the border down, but not only just shuts that border down, goes after these cartels. We don't need these cartels in this country just operating however the hell they want to. We need to have these cartels running scared for their freaking lives from our law enforcement. We need to crack down on this. But once again, it doesn't seem like the Biden administration really gives a damn about this. Otherwise, they would do something. They would show that they're doing something more by shutting that border down and trying to expand DEA and get the FBI on this. Instead of going after its political rivals, it should go after terrorist organizations like these cartels. But I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. That's all I got for this one, y'all. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.